Well, a quick run round the Eric Winter Design cross-country course. It's the Voltaire Design saddle rack at 1 to start these horses on the 6,385-metre track, and the optimum time 10:51.
Well, second fence, it is the Oxford Times Olympic table.
Onto the Equitrek Endeavour under the trees at 3. Big ditch in front of this upright rail.
Then 4AB, the Cotswold Life stone tables.
Well, running down through the trees at 5 and 6, it's the Initiative Challenge, 2 very big square carts.
Next up, long gallop up the hill to 7A, B and C. New look at Shire's Equestrian Wooded Hollow.
On to a very straightforward fence at 8, it's the Let Up John Sankey chairs and table.
And then the interesting mound fences 9A and B, the Silken Stem flower pots.
Well, away from the flower pots, it's on to the Watson Fuel log pile at 10. Another straightforward fence, the riders can choose left or right-hand side.
Then to the Gatehouse stick pile at 11. That related to fence 12A and B, the double of Kenton Masters brush corners 12A and B.
Well, away from those Kenton Masters brush corners at 12, they run down the hill to the JCB water splash fences 13A and B.
Well, across the causeway they go, and out they jump over 14A and B, the anniversary steps and triple bush.
Up the hill, and on the top of the hill, it's the very big Kubota rails.
Then they head down into the valley bottom. Huge open ditch, the Rowan Barbary Leap of Faith at 16.
While sighted on 2 mounds at 17A and B, it's the Cheltenham annual members badges, 4 or 5 strides in between the two.
Well, then they climb through the trees again, fence 18, the Cub Cadet ride on and push.
While through the trees once again, it's the cross-country app query at 19, a nice straightforward fence before climbing the hill. It's nearing the main arena.
Through the trees at fence 20, it is the Clarendon Business Heads.
Well, once they've jumped the heads, it is into the main arena to the Blenheim Palace International Horse Trials 25th anniversary hop. That sets them up for 3 more jumping efforts.
Well, the next of those is fence 22. It's the Blenheim Palace flower basket.
Well, away from the flower basket, they come to the British eventing boxes 23A and B. 4 strides in between the 2 fences there.
So they then descend down the terrain here at Blenheim Palace. It's down towards the Ariat Dupont 24A and B. They jump the house, splash through the water and over the right-hand dragon.
Well, away from the Ariat Dupont, it's down to the Brightwells Fly. A very big ditch in front of the hedge at 25. Jumped in many directions over the years. It's a big fence.
So they head now, the run for home very much on now. 26A and B, very open tables. It's Dodson and Horrell feed tables.
Well, 3 jumping efforts left to go now for the 3-star CCI. It's the Seesaw, the nominated charity here at Blenheim. The Seesaw runs them down to the Fairfax saddle, beautifully carved fence by David Evans at 28.
So, the end in sight now, just the last to go. It's fence 29. They run on to the Biffa Bin finale.
It's the morning of cross country. It's an early start for all of us because there are more than 100 entries in the CCI 3-star to get through, so we had to get here pretty early on. But look who I found at fence 9, the silk and stem flower pots, none other than last year's winner Francis Whittington. Morning, Francis. It is a bit of an early start for cross country this morning, isn't it?
It is, and the visibility so far isn't as good as it can be, but I think here we are at top end of the course and we're going to see some good riding today.
OK, well, here comes the first horse, Mirage Dell, ridden by Pippa Funnell. She's won this competition 4 times, Francis. Talk us through it.
You should be balancing and setting the horse up now. Let the horse see, now ride up the bank and see lovely jump. And there is a classic example of how you see the horses and how the bank can help the horse. And what we saw to part B there, she was slightly off, but she was able to keep riding up to the fence, and the bank lifted the shoulders up and helped the horse to take the stride and actually have a very nice jump off there from not being in the most perfect spot.
All right, well, let's find out how Pippa gets on and some of the other riders here in the CCI. You've got to get ready for the CIC.
Yep.
You've got your show jumping this afternoon, haven't you?
That's it, show jumping this afternoon and cross country tomorrow, so that should be good fun.
Good luck, Francis.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Pippa Funnell and Mirage Dell down to the water.
Well, just fighting a bit on the way down the hill there, and the camera angle not really doing true justice for the angle of that first part, Spencer. Really quite acute.
It is a very acute angle across there. 2 strides to the triple arrowhead skinny brush. Well, that very bold coming out of the water. Former winner, 4-time winner here of the Blenheim Palace International Horse Trials. And Pippa, of course, member of that silver medal winning team at the Europeans just a couple of weeks ago with Sandman 7.
Well, that was very, very easy there over a log which created quite a bit of debate amongst the riders, but we see it coming to the dew pond. Now, Spencer.
Well, jumps to the left-hand house, runs through the water to the right-hand dragon. It's a super horse, Mirage Dell.
Yeah, very experienced combination of two. Now the Brightwell's Flyer, this a real a rider frightener.
It's got an enormous ditch in front of it.
Yeah, Pantwetter as even start would call it. Well, no problem there.
Well, it's the fence on the top of the hill. It's the seesaw down to the Fairfax saddle.
Well, that was easy. Very easy. Pippa now to the last, the Biffa Bins.
Never easy going out first either, and she's done a super job, hasn't she?
She has. I mean, it's a difficult job. You have to ride exactly what you see, which, well, sometimes it's easier.
Great round.
Well, Pippa was the first one round. Pippa, well done. We watched you at fence 9. That was a tiny bit hairy there.
A little bit hairy. It's either 4 or 5 strides, and I thought, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to stay open on the 4, and it was a long way. So on my next horse, I definitely think I'm going to go 5 strides across there. But he's a really good boy. He's an old boy, very experienced, and he rather fits in with the rest of the team where we go. But yeah, I was delighted with him.
Well done, Pippa. Good luck with the next one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Izzy Taylor. Izzy with It's Chico. Oh no! Well, blow me.
That will not please it. Now Oliver Dunbow to the first of these corners, and he's run out. That is, well, sadly he did that at Blair as well.
Well, coming to the last, Oliver and Sandy Man, the second, the Biffa Bins. I don't believe it. What happened there, Angus?
Well, I think he's putting the bins out, Spencer.
I don't think he was expecting that. Well, Christopher Burton, Nobilis 18 for Australia, Dressage 42, left them in 7th place, and this a very good combination across the country.
Yeah, man, really on form, Christopher Burton. And this cross-country track, well, we've seen a few problems so far, and we see Christopher coming to the same corners. We've just seen Oliver run out there. Now he balances down the hill to the first of the right-hand corners. Delicately done. A very clever fence, this. The corners separated out quite a long way, which makes the time more time-consuming.
Yeah, the stick pile just before really opening the horses up and then down to those corners. On the 6 strides before that, the between the corners. And you said before, Angus, that angle really not shown on the TV, is it?
No, and I mean, Christopher made absolutely nothing of this now. That is a big brush out of the water and absolutely made mincemeat of that.
Well, nailed the triple arrowhead brush coming out. Sees a very good stride to the rail, the Kubota rails on the top of the hill.
He went for the wide part, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Just, straight for the middle. Gun it, my son. Go on.
And a yawning ditch in front of this as well.
Huge, huge, but the horses just, they don't really see it. They just make nothing of it. Now the badges on the mounds. Now this quite a very gymnastic exercise for them, and well, simple really.
Well, the topography here at Blenheim, they've really used all the mounds and all the gradients of the ground. In the main arena is Christopher Burton, Nobilis 18 now.
So coming to the second of the fences in the arena. Real crowd pleaser, the arena fences, when you'll see later in the day there'll be the arena packed out.
It's looking quite empty at the moment.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But it will be packed, Spencer.
Quite foggy morning as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's not great for viewing, but it's actually quite good for the horses because it's cooler.
Well, the Ariat Dupont, Nobilis 18, Christopher Burton for Australia. First CCI 3-star for this horse. And so far, so good. Really clever there.
Yeah, very smooth. And he's not hanging around. 10.51 Remember the optimum time, 6,385 metres, 40 jumping efforts. He comes to jump number 25.
Well, now we see the very experienced Piggy French and Oboe's Cooley, 41.9 their dressage, left them in 6th place. Piggy with a great string of horses and beautifully through the 2 corners.
Yeah, Piggy, a very, very experienced rider. Had a bit of bad luck a few years ago before London, and great to see her back and riding as well as ever. This horse, relatively green at this level, comes now, jumps boldly out of the water. Very smooth. Piggy secure in the saddle. Now, we did see some riders go left hand at this next rail and jump the actual tree. And there Piggy does it for us. Jumps the tree, you see, just to the left. There are no actual solid ground rail, Spencer.
No, just giving the horse a bit of a... Well, it's a big jump, and she jumped it very nicely. It's interesting, though, to see...
Growling.
A bit of verbal encouragement there from Piggy. You don't hear verbal encouragement from her very often.
Well, a bit of vocality. There's nothing wrong with that as she comes down to the Brightwell's Flyer, Piggy.
Well, she's already seen her stride.
She has. And it worked.
It certainly did. Well, there's a former ride of Laura Collett. She only took this horse on a short while ago, and they formed a fantastic partnership.
The Seesaw and the Saddle, another one of David Evans's beautiful carvings, and well, Piggy just urging him on now. She's not far off.
29 numbered fences and 40 jumping efforts. Angus, that must be up to maximum.
It is bob on the maximum. It is absolutely 10:51, just 9 seconds short of that 11-minute maximum as well.